Hello students, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be starting the chapter Language of Chemistry. If gold starts with G, then why its symbol is Au? Why is sodium called Na? And who invented these strange symbols? Today we are decoding the secret language of chemistry. Imagine writing the full names of elements every single time in chemistry would have been such a tedious job. So scientists created a shortcut language called chemical symbols. Just like your nickname represents you, a symbol represents an element. So a simple definition for symbol is that it represents an element. It is a short form of an element. So what is an element? An element is a pure substance made up of one kind of atoms only. So when we are saying one kind of atoms only, here we need to understand if I am talking about gold. So it will be made up of just one kind of atom of gold only, or I can say it will contain only gold atoms. Okay, only gold atoms will be present in the element of gold. Likewise, when I am talking about hydrogen, hydrogen will contain only hydrogen atoms. Okay, so that is the definition of an element. It is a pure substance made up of one kind of atoms only. And defining an atom, it is the basic unit of an element which may or may not exist on its own. And when we are talking about symbol, already we said it is the short form of an element, or an atom of any element is denoted by a symbol. So whenever we are writing an element, we represent the element in its short form, which we call it as a symbol. So the definition of element, atom and symbol are important for you to understand and learn. Now coming to the symbol of an element. What are the things that we can understand when we see the symbol of an element? We know it is a short form or abbreviated name of the element. So when we are talking about the abbreviated name or short form, if we take the example of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, all these are the short form names of the element hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. And these elements, when we are writing it in the form of a symbol, they also represent one atom of that element. That is, one atom of hydrogen, one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen. So it represents the atom of an element, and it also represents the weight of the element, which is equal to its atomic weight. Now talking about the representation of a symbol, we'll see a little historical background as to how these symbols came into being. It was John Dalton who used drawings and figurative symbols for the element. So, for example, when he described hydrogen, he showed hydrogen in the form of a symbol of a circle. Then when he showed the symbol for sulfur, there also he showed the figurative representation for sulfur. And likewise for nitrogen also, it was represented by a figurative symbol. But imagine memorizing drawings for every element will be very confusing. Hence his concept of figurative symbols for the atoms of elements was discarded. Later on, Jacob Berzelius gave a much simpler idea. His approach was to use letters instead of drawings. So what was his approach? Firstly, he said to use the first letter of the name of the element, like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. These are all the first letter of the names of the element for which the symbols can be used. Then he said the first two letters. In case there are two elements which are beginning with the same letters, like carbon and calcium. So in order to distinguish these two elements, the second letter was considered with the elements which were showing the elements which were starting with the same letters. For convenience, the second letter was taken into consideration so that there is no confusion. And coming to the most interesting part of representation of a symbol was by using the Latin name of the elements. Now you know that gold is derived from its Latin name aurum. Hence its symbol is Au. Likewise, when we talk about iron is derived from its Latin name ferrum. hence its symbol is Fe. So that's why chemistry symbols sometimes look completely different. These symbols come from the Latin names. For gold, for iron, copper we have cuprum. Okay. Now before moving further, we'll have a little quiz, little summary of what we have understood till now. Now you know what is the symbol of sodium. We know that sodium is derived from the Latin name natrium. So that's why its symbol will be Na. That is the symbol of sodium. And what is the Latin name of copper? It is cuprum. And hence its symbol is Cu. And what does hydrogen represent? It represents one atom of the element. Now there are some common mistakes which students generally make, like writing symbols in capital letters only. For example, if I am talking about sodium. Now sodium you can't write just Na. This will be wrong. Sodium is capital N and a small a. That is the representation for sodium. Likewise, for calcium, you can't write both the letters as capital letters. It will be capital C and a small a. That is how we represent calcium. So these are minute things but very important while you are learning the symbols. Now some of you get confused while writing cobalt and carbon monoxide. Now cobalt is an element, because when we are writing an element, the second letter is a small alphabet, and carbon monoxide is a compound. So carbon monoxide, in this case both the letters are capital letters, carbon monoxide. So that is the simple difference when we write cobalt and carbon monoxide, which you need to keep in mind while you write these symbols. Then you can't forget the Latin names. Latin names are very important. Then only you will be able to identify the elements if a list of different elements is given. And very important, no cursive letters should be used while writing symbols. Like if you are writing the symbol of magnesium, it should be simple M and a simple G. Not that you write cursive letters. This will be considered wrong. So whenever you are writing, write simple alphabets while writing the symbols of these elements. Very important. Okay, so I hope you have understood what we have discussed today. Little things we have discussed today in terms of, we have understood the language of chemistry, and then we have understood the concept of symbols, the Latin names, and what are certain rules which were framed by scientists while writing the symbols of the element. So if this video has helped you understand, then do like, subscribe, and do comment your favorite chemical symbol below. So in the next video we will take the valency concept, and I hope that will help you to understand the concept more easily. Thank you and see you in the next video.